أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to episode 2 of the Sacred Power in the Sacred Month series. I'm your host, Supercharger. Before I begin, let me start with my dua. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses this life. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes this life beneficial for all of us, me included. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides us in this holy month of Ramadan to make the most authentic, most productive, most powerful dua for us to receive it in ease during and or after Ramadan as well. Inshallah, Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. So, today's episode is about sacred knowledge for getting your du'as accepted. Now, see, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what ethnicity or what background you're from, if you lack knowledge, if you lack knowledge, you lack the power, or you lack the most important tool to get anything done or to receive anything. Alaikum salam, Shaz, Jazakallah khair for joining. And you will actually lack guidance when you lack knowledge. You will lack understanding when you lack knowledge. So, in this month of Ramadan, which is one of the most powerful and one of the most special months in the Islamic calendar, we are advised to make lots and lots and lots of dua. The thing I tell my daughter when we are up at Shuhur and we are waiting for the adhan, I tell her dua. I tell her, please focus on making dua, because the dua during the time of tahajjud is like an arrow that does not miss its target. Like it is straight shooter. So for us to make dua, for us to understand dua, there are certain precursors. So, but I'm not going to talk about those precursors here today. But today I want you all to understand this lesson that I'm going to teach you all. When you internalize it, the way you make dua completely changes. Subhanallah. I implemented this last year, and by Allah as my witness, my life completely changed. So many things changed in my life after last Ramadan. So, see, when I keep speaking about the sacred space, many people don't understand what I mean. And many sacred females don't understand the power of our sacred space. They don't understand the power of the sacred womb. It is not an organ to conceive a baby or to carry a baby. That is not what its job is. The primary job of a sacred womb is to help its sacred female to connect and communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the primary job. Not this thing about getting pregnant and having babies and stuff like that. That is not its primary job. That is a jahiliyyah thinking, to be fair. It's a jahiliyyah thinking if you're going to think that your sacred womb is just for popping up babies. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. No. See, if you let's take the sacred female and take the sacred male. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we can't even comprehend Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can only comprehend Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the limited knowledge that we have, the limited brain capacity we have, and thus we get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through his 99 names. But there's way more beautiful, there are way more beautiful names of Allah that we don't even know. Allah hasn't told us, Allah hasn't taught us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, think about this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above the 7 heavens, okay? And they say that the last heaven is space, is the ceiling of the space, is basically the flow of the last heaven. So we don't even know what the space looks like. I mean, they say that this universe has about 8 billion Milky Way galaxies, and like this universe that we are in, there are more than 8 to 10 billion universes. Can you wrap your head around that? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond all of that. This is something which our limited human brain cannot comprehend, our limited human brain cannot understand. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is way beyond all of this. So, as humans, they say only the heart is able to contain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing else. But this is a masculine thinking. Let me tell you. In the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he wants to see Allah. And Allah was like, Ya Musa, you know, my nur cannot be handled by this little planet of yours. But Musa alayhi salam was adamant. Ya Allah, I want, like a little child, I want. Allah was like, okay, look at the mountain, and I will show a glimpse of me to that mountain. The mountain broke down into rubble. The mountain was destroyed. That is the level of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power, the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's so powerful that a mountain just turned into cotton candy, or even just granules, like sugar granules, sand. So such a being, nothing in this heavens and earth can contain him except our heart, they say. But for a sacred female, we have an additional space, a sacred space, a sacred room. We are able to contain Allah twice, in our sacred heart and in our sacred womb. Our sacred heart and our sacred womb are connected, absolutely connected. Okay, both pump blood, but in a different way. Okay, the sacred womb actually expels it, but then she contracts and she expands to expel it, and so does the sacred heart, contracts and expands. Okay, I'm getting emotional saying this. A sacred womb has been undermined. Like, we only speak about her in terms of sex, in terms of pregnancy, in terms of periods, and so many sacred females, me included in the past, used to be so annoyed with my womb. Like, why are you causing me so much pain? Why are you causing me so much discomfort? Why can you not bleed as such? But I was oblivious to the knowledge that this is her fitrah. That's the adhan. And that is her fitrah, that she has to bleed. Sorry, I have to take a break. That was the adhan, and subhanallah, usually the adhan is not this loud. Wallahi, I'm not kidding you. It's not this loud. I don't understand what happened today, but alhamdulillah, khair for everything. So Allah has a plan. Like I was saying, that is her fitrah. Like that is her right to go through those stages. But nobody taught us that. And when I say contain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we always talk about the heart, because we always say that it's the heart has now science has discovered that the heart has neurons similar to the neurons in our brain. So that means the heart has a capacity to think and has memory as well. So does your sacred womb. There is not enough research done on the sacred womb. No scientific research done on sacred womb. It's just the past 5 years they've done research on menopause to understand what menopause is. Before that they didn't know, and only I would say within the past 5 years only they understood that a woman's period is equal to somebody having a heart attack. I didn't know this growing up. I didn't know this when I was pregnant either. None of this was taught to us. And why would it be taught to us when it has no value, or it has no a business value to anybody, because all about money. So when I say in this month of Ramadan, make dua from the deepest core of you. Because you see, when you take the sacred womb, she is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like nothing else is connected. I mean, I listened to one of the sheikhs saying, and I will try to get that video and maybe put it on my feed, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the sacred womb, the womb turned around and told Allah, Ya Rabb, you're creating me so fragile, so weak. Human beings will hurt me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Rasul said, yes, I know they will, but then you will always be connected to me. Every time you're hurt, you connect to me, connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Has Allah said that to any other organ that is common between sacred males and sacred females? It's a sacred womb that constantly does dhikr to Allah, that constantly does shukr to Allah. We don't even realize her. We don't even realize the extent of her what do I call that? The extent. I'm sorry for that noise. The extent of her contribution to her health and well-being. SubhanAllah. Unless something goes wrong, that's when we see her, or we go to the doctor. Other than that, we're not even bothered. But we don't understand that it is the sacred womb that holds the key to health, vitality, success, intelligence, because the way she produces and manages the hormones is what keeps a sacred female healthy, and keeps a sacred female productive. That's something different. In Ramadan, our dua, it is said that the dua of the fasting person is accepted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not reject the dua of a fasting person. But how many of us are doing dua? We always say do a heartfelt dua, heartfelt dua, heartfelt dua. Why not a womb-centered dua? Why not do something from the core of our being, from the portal of creation? Only a sacred female has that one characteristic of our Creator, the ability to create. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed the sacred female with that. That's why she's called the Rahman, and the one with mercy. And that's Allah's placed her as a mercy for mankind. Not only a mercy for you as a carrier of the Rahman, but for all of mankind. And that is why she's so powerful. So if nothing on dunya or in the heavens, in the Jannah, in any of the universes, nothing in dunya or nothing in any of the heavens can contain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our sacred space is the space, is the vacuum that has the ability to contain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But how many of us know this? How many of us are taught this? And how many of us are asking dua through that portal? Not many of us. I would say hardly. I didn't know until I learned it. We don't even know her power. We don't even know what she's about. She's got such amazing powers that we don't even care. We're so focused on the brain. We're so focused on the upper part here. We just focus here. Because we have been taught by society that the lower part of the body is the lower half, the lesser half. For a sacred female, the lower part of her body is the most powerful part, from her belly button to a sacred triangle. That's a sacred space. And the sacred womb is a big powerhouse, a central powerhouse. So when you're making dua, make dua from your womb. How do we access the womb? See, in my previous episodes, or even in my previous Ramadan series, I can go through it. Only you have the capacity, only you have the ability to access your own sacred womb. Nobody has it. Only you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody has the ability to access your sacred womb except you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when I say make dua from there, do a small meditation. Take your right hand, place it in the space of your womb, and activate that portal. Activate that portal. Keep your hands on the right. Take your right hand. Let's do it now. Take your right hand. Keep it on your womb, and close your eyes, and then speak to her. Call her by beautiful names. Call her name. Tell her how much you love her. Tell her how much you adore her. Tell her how much she's helped you. What she means to you. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dearest one, I see you. I feel you. And I know that I and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only have the access to you. And I know that you have access to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unconditionally. And you are my guidance. You are my rope to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On this day of Ramadan, as I'm about to make dua, I want to make dua with you, with me. Repeat this over and over again until you feel a surge of emotion within you, and then you do the normal adab of dua, praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, salawat on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then you make the dua, then again salawat on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the etiquette of dua. Access your sacred room portal and then make dua. And by Allah, I'm already feeling like things stirring. Literally things stirring. I already feel a vibration. Why do I say that our sacred womb is the portal? It goes without saying. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam in a public way, in front of the angels, in front of the jinns, in front of all creations. Allah created Adam alayhi salam. But Allah created Hawa alayhi salam in secrecy, in privacy, away from the eyes of every creation. That is why I say that the sacred female is very much closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the sacred male. So when we make dua in Ramadan, when we make dua in tahajjud, and when we make dua in sujood, the connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is heightened. Because they say sujood is where we are closer to our Creator. But if you're able to not only make dua, if you're able to access the salah portal through your sacred space, that would be phenomenal. The khushu' in salah will be completely different. The khushu', every time that you access your sacred space and then you say Allahu Akbar and you start your salah, the khushu' you will feel in your salah is different. Rather than just mindlessly you doing the motions. I mean, especially as sacred females, we've got so many things that we consider. There are so many things that we think about. There are so many things that we need to get done. There's a huge to-do list. But when you do your salah by accessing your sacred womb and then saying Allahu Akbar, the whole salah I'm sorry, I get emotional every time I speak about this. The whole salah becomes your portal to access Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I get very emotional because I'm so sad that many sacred females understand this, that we hold the power to every dua on dunya. In dunya, we hold the power for every dua that we want for our ummah. That's why if you when you see all throughout history, it is the women who are targeted first. And it's not because they're weaker, women and children because they're weaker. Children because they're the next generation. So that means you need to tackle the next generation. Women, it's not because they're weaker, because they're the strongest ones who will be able to magnetize whatever they want. That is why you heard of the statement, the saying called, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. So hell, even the fury of hell is simply nothing compared to a woman who has been hurt, disappointed, and in pain. And if she makes a statement in that pain, in that state of pain and agony, it comes, subhanAllah, it comes true instant. This is your sacred womb. The sacred womb that you're walking around with every single day. The sacred womb you don't take seriously. The sacred womb that you don't even know holds centuries old wisdom, holds centuries old knowledge, centuries old codes of every sort, of every thought, of every sort. But then this knowledge is kept from us because the moment you access your sacred space, sacred womb knowledge, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, you become unstoppable. Dunya is an illusion. You will start seeing it as an illusion the more you tap into your sacred womb. You will see dunya as just something that's not tangible the more you go into your sacred space. Everybody talks about work within, the work within, the work within. Honey, what is the work within? The work within, sorry about that, the work within is the work done through your sacred space. That is the work within. Your mental work, mental health is directly correlated to your hormones. Your physical health is directly correlated to your hormones. And your hormones are secreted by your ovaries. They're part of your sacred space. So, you want to get married. You want to have children. You want to heal your sacred space to have children or heal your sacred space for health reasons. Whatever it is, access her the way I've taught you in this episode. It's so easy. You don't need to have elaborate prompts. You don't need to jump through hoops to access your sacred space. She's within you. You are the carrier of the sacredness. So it doesn't take you that long to access her. It hardly takes long for you to access her. But then once you access her, once you bring her to your side, once you and her are on the same page, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, everything will shift. I'm saying this from experience. Everything will shift. Dunya will lose its luster. It wouldn't be intimidating. It wouldn't be scary. It hardly would be anything. They were like, but dunya is the bridge that we have to go through to reach Jannah, inshallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this beautiful month of Ramadan where we have the ability, in this holy month of Ramadan, let us access her. Let us learn about her. Let us not only understand, let us first start understanding her cycle. Let us start understanding how our hormones work. Let us start understanding what we feed on a day-to-day basis. And then just activate her. Assume her to be like a crystal. You activate a crystal. People are so busy activating crystals, putting it out on the full moon, on the new moon, in their balconies, in their gardens to activate it. You don't need to do any of that. You don't need to put any stuff like that. You can activate the greatest crystal of healing within you, within me, the sacred womb. The moment you activate it, signal between her and Allah are crystal clear. And you will be able to write that signal to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so fast and do things to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so fast, and the du'as you make will come true lightning speed. Inshallah. See, again, Ramadan is a month of dua, 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 dua. Please make dua, but make dua sincerely. Make dua from the core of you. Feel it and then drop down to your core, and from your core ask Allah. Be emotional, cry, beg. It doesn't come from the heart for us. It comes from our womb, because our womb contains millions of women before us who went through unimaginable pain, and it is all stored within us. And we access their pain, we access their du'as, we access their success. We place it at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's feet. And we ask dua. I get emotional because one of my mentors taught me how to make dua from your sacred space in a very, very detailed way. And I was thinking, should I do another episode? I think I should do another episode of making dua from your sacred space. Again, this is Ramadan, where your du'as are accepted easily, quickly. We're doing so many ibadah, we're doing so many sadaqah, we're doing Quran, we're doing Taraweeh, we're doing the Nawafil. Why don't we just bring all of that together and tie it into a lovely bow by accessing a sacred book? Inshallah, episode 3 will be about the specific dua that I was taught last year, that I use every time I use that dua, it comes true, and it always makes me cry up. So inshallah, I will do the episode tomorrow, inshallah, tomorrow being Friday, and I'll inform you all when I post it on Spotify, because that is going to be a very emotional trance, inshallah. So, in ending this episode, your greatest portal is your sacred womb, which is part of your sacred space. If you want anything in dunya, anything in the afterlife, going through her opens the gateways so much ease that it will shock you. It will shock you. Because we're never taught to be friends with her. We're always taught to be enemies with her. Nobody taught us to be friends with her. But I'm telling you, she's your bestest friend. Having her by your side, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant your du'as. Ameen, ameen, ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakallah khair for joining this episode and listening to this episode. I shall see you on episode 3 of the Sacred Power and the Sacred Month. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.